What if the reason your dreams, your goals, and those deepest desires haven't fully manifested yet is because you're holding on too tightly? What if your need for control, your anxiety, your impatience is actually pushing away everything that you were trying to attract? Right? I know this because I spent most of my life trying to force things, force outcomes, right? Desperate, anxious, always in a state of fear. Okay? I had to know how things were going to happen, right? And over the past 6 years, I've been on a journey of self-discovery. And one of the things I've discovered is the art of surrender. And when I done that, I never done that. When I grew into that and finally was able to surrender, things dramatically shifted. Okay, welcome back to the channel. I'm LJ, and today I'm going to show you exactly how letting go speeds up your manifestations and why surrender is actually is one of the greatest powers you can have. Okay, and how its paradoxical principle completely changed my life. And if it changed my life, then it can change your life, right? Because I believe surrender, well, I misunderstood surrender. I thought surrender was weakness, giving up. Okay, so when I first heard the idea of surrender, I totally misunderstood it, right? Okay, I thought surrender meant giving up, just settling, not caring about outcomes. But that was a huge mistake. Okay, surrender is not giving up your dreams. Surrender is releasing your desperate grip on how and when they will manifest. Okay, because most people, myself included, I confuse surrender with weakness. Okay, it's defeat, right? And the truth is, surrender, it's a powerful spiritual tool. It's about trust, openness, and alignment with something much greater than your limited ego-based perspective can handle, right? And I learned this the hard way, right? I've spoke about it, years of addiction, financial struggles, emotional turmoil. I was constantly trying to force outcomes, trying to control every situation, and anxiously obsessing over every detail in my life. And the funny thing is, the harder I pushed, the further things seemed to drift away from me. And it was after, it must have been, I don't know, maybe 3, 4 years where I kind of started to practice surrender. I knew about it, but I fully hadn't grasped the concept. But when I really started to practice real surrender, fully releasing control and trusting that my higher self has got my back, then things started to shift. Now, things didn't magically overnight become great. No, because I had so much years of conditioning and so much stuff that I had to be released and let go. Right. And that's what the thing is. I was a control freak, right? And control blocks your manifestations, your creations, right? Because your ego craves certainty, safety, predictability. Okay? Control feels safe, right? But spiritually and energetically, control creates resistance. Right? Energetically, needing to control creates a vibration of desperation, right? Anxiety and scarcity, which then pushes everything away. Okay? Now, psychologically, control comes from fear-based thinking, your ego. Right? When you're trying to control outcomes, you're unconsciously telling your subconscious, I don't trust this will happen. And then this blocks flow and manifestation. Okay, so for example, uh, my journey, even on, let's talk about just most recent on my coaching business. When I first started that, I was trying to control everything, right? I was trying to control, every single part of it, and I had no trust in how things would unfold, my relationships, my finances, and the harder I tried to control everything without letting, I had to, because first of all, I had to grow, evolve before I was ready for certain things. Right, so every single time things didn't go to plan, you know, I would be anxious, frustration would take over, and then things would go to shit. I was constantly fighting life instead of just flowing with life. I just think of the energy difference when you're flowing or you're fighting, right? It's so different. Okay, when you release the grip, you stop energetically repelling your desires. Instead, what you do is you create a magnetic, receptive energy. This is why surrender will accelerate your manifestations. And I really did struggle with this to begin with. I really did. Okay, but there is a spiritual science, if you want to call it that. Right? Surrender works because it aligns you with the universal laws of manifestation. Right? Specifically the law of detachment. Right? So what is the law of detachment? Right? It means having a clear intention. Right? So you are clearly, you know what you want to create. Now, the issue with this is where people get confused on the clear intention is this has to be something that's true for you coming from your heart. Because if you are doing it out of fear based, then you're going to create. So, for example, if you're saying that I want to create money because you don't have enough, right? Then that's not going to be a true because that's not true for you. What you want is what money will bring you. You will, whether that's, happiness or success or whatever it is, you're wanting what money will bring you. You're not wanting actual money, right? So having a clear intention. And for me, my clear intention is to inspire millions, right, across the world, right? So I want to inspire millions of people, right? Then you have to take aligned actions. So what actions would I have to do in order to do that? So I had to use YouTube as my vehicle. So I have to set up my YouTube channel and then I have to start posting and I have to make content, right? So then it's about completely releasing, how and when. And even if your manifestations, will, how they will come about. Okay. So and I done another video on this, the Bashar video as well, but that was the formula. So how does it work, right? Your conscious mind, your ego has a limited perspective. It only sees, one or two ways something can manifest, right? And it can't see the infinite possibilities. Whereas your superconscious mind, your higher self, that sees the infinite possibilities. So surrendering allows your higher self to orchestrate events in ways that your conscious mind could never ever imagine. Right? So how does surrender look practically? Right? So as I said, you set the clear intention for what it is that you want. You take aligned actions guided by your intuition. I done an intuition video yesterday if you want to check that out. You trust the universe will manifest outcomes for your highest good, right? Possibly even better than you imagined. And remember, this is in your highest good. Okay, so whatever's in your highest good, and sometimes that might be you have to go through a difficult circumstance to gain wisdom or knowledge or something. So it's not always going to be plain sailing and rainbows and unicorns, right? And when I finally surrendered to the need for control, okay, and how things were going to appear in my life, right, especially on this journey of YouTube, for example, when I let go, I had to. The next step for me, which I didn't know, was for me to go and spend a year in basically isolation because I had to then rebuild myself and my authentic self where I had to remove all the masks. And this is when things started to flow for me because I didn't understand I didn't know what I was going to speak about when I started YouTube. I didn't know. But see, when I started, I taken aligned action, just things started magically happening. Okay. And in better ways than my limited ego had ever planned. Like I've got non-stop ideas all the time. I'm so passionate. But that's because I've got a clear intention of inspiring millions and I'm taking action every single day, regardless of my fears, my doubts, insecurities, all of that. I'm just going with the flow every single day and things are magically happening for me. Because what stopped me was letting go felt terrifying, right? Because if surrender is so powerful, then why is it difficult, right? And that comes down to one thing, the fear of uncertainty. Right? Your ego hates uncertainty. It equates uncertainty with danger and sometimes death, and your ego does not want to die. So your mind resists letting go at all costs. It does everything, puts roadblocks, you know, limiting thinking. It will do everything to stop you from evolving, from becoming the best version of yourself. And how can we overcome that? Okay. So it's about reframing uncertainty as possibility. Uncertainty means infinite possibilities. Okay? Let uncertainty excite you rather than scare you. Think about it. If you're uncertain, that means there's so many possibilities. Right? So let uncertainty excite you rather than scare you. Okay? And then spend time daily surrendering. Right? Sit in a quiet place. Visualize placing your desires in the hands of the universe. Literally, sit there quiet and just place your desires in the hands of the universe. Okay? And then just let go of the need to know, right? You don't have to know how it's going to happen. You just need to know that I'm placing here and it's going to materialize. Okay? You don't have to know how it's going to happen. You don't have to know any details, right? Letting go terrified me, right? Because I believed if I wasn't in control, if I didn't know how it was going to happen, then it would never happen, right? But when I finally surrendered, despite my fears, my doubts, my insecurities, then things unfolded naturally. Now, it wasn't easy. There was very difficult times through that, but everything was for me. Okay, and it's unbelievable how it happened because I would never have imagined how things would unfold for me. And it's about, really putting the control in the hands of the universe. Okay, and I'll give you, some hardcore practical steps, right? So the first one, like I've said, is set that clear intention, clearly state or write exactly what you desire, right? And this, as said, it has to come from the heart, right? So if money was no object and, there was nothing that would limit you, what would you have or what would you do? And then feel the emotion of, if I had that right now, what would that feel like? Okay, and see if when I've got millions of subscribers on YouTube and I'm impacting millions of lives, do you know how amazing that feels? That's the emotion I feel of having it. Every day I know that I'm impacting people's lives in a positive way, and I've impacted them through the pain and the struggle that I've went through. So it means that all of my pain and suffering, it was for a reason, which I already know now, but I didn't when I was going through it. So if you're going through that, know that everything's happening for you. Okay, then you identify what you can control. Your thoughts, your aligned actions, your inner state. That's where the focus should be. Okay, so identify what you can control and then fully release everything outside of your control, right? Just visualize handing over all external circumstances and timing to your higher self, okay, or the universe, and just affirm, I release control and trust in the perfect outcome. Because when you do this and you're releasing, you're putting everything in the hands of the universe, I promise you it will happen. Where people struggle is because they still try, they still try to hold on to the control. That's why it never happens. Okay. And when you release the control and then you take aligned action without attachment, okay, so you act from inspiration immediately. As soon as you get that inspiration, you act and your intuition. Okay. Follow your highest excitement. Okay. Don't act out of desperation or anxiety. Right. And then detach from needing immediate results. Right. I don't check my view rate. I don't check my subscribers. Okay. And obviously I have looked at them, but I'm not there every day looking, saying and checking, oh, I've only got 5 views. I've only got 2 views. I've only got 1 subscriber. Right. I know right now I think I have 54 subscribers and I think it's over 1,300 views. Right. And I am so grateful for that. You have no idea that 54 people have decided they want to hear more of what I've got to say. If I had 54 people in a room, that's a lot of people. And over 1,300 people viewed my videos. Do you know how amazing that is to me? That 1,300 people have said, you know what, I want to hear what he's got to say. Okay, and I know that I am at the beginning. And so I'm not focused on the end outcome. I'm focused on the process and showing up every single day because I am trusting in divine timing, which is the final step. Trust that everything's happening for you and in the right time. Remind yourself everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. I am here. This is where I'm meant to be. Okay? And when you implement these steps on a daily basis, especially releasing control and just knowing, and it's not even about trusting, it's more knowing that everything's going to manifest for you, then you'll start to see these powerful transformations, right? And it happened to me. Relationships healed, success came, so many different things. And I'm at the beginning of this journey. As I keep saying, I don't claim to have all the answers and know everything, right? I know what I know based on what I've went through and the results that I've got from it. So I'm only sharing how things have transpired for me. And I hope that whatever I say will maybe inspire something in you. And then you will have, the same or even better. Because surrender will, when you surrender, that will create that true abundance. and alignment. Okay, and with surrender, it places you in perfect alignment with the flow of life because you're not trying to, block things and control things. So you're not putting these barriers in front of the universe because the universe just wants you to flow, right? Flow with life, your higher self, and your true nature and purpose. And when you practice surrender consistently, right, you will magnetically attract, abundance, joy, relationships, opportunities, right? You feel peaceful, centered, and you feel connected, spiritually connected, right? No matter what's happening externally. Now, as I've said, I have went through a tough time, and um, the past year I've had to step back from making money, and because it was on my spiritual path, so I struggled financially, and I still struggle financially. But you know what? It doesn't impact me because I have my basic needs met. My family are fine. We have all the bills paid. We have food. We have clothes. We have safety. So I could easily attach and feel going to fear and scarcity, but I know that this is all happening for me. So I'm not letting external impact my internal. My internal world is amazing. I'm radiating joy, peace, love, happiness. Because when you can do that, your manifestations accelerate. And I know that as long as I keep doing this and showing up, I'm in harmony with the universe. I'm not putting any resistance in its way. It's going to happen when divine timing makes the time right. Okay, so even in the past year, my life has transformed massively, and I put that down to surrender because I would probably only say it's only been, I don't know, maybe 2 years, if that, where I've consciously practiced surrender and letting go. And the abundance that I've received is, and abundance is, there's so many different things you could be abundant in, but the love, the relationships, the feeling inside, and going from somebody who thought he was going to die, an addict, who couldn't go one day without taking drugs or alcohol, who lives in total peace and harmony, and he has amazing people around him. I've won in life already. Okay, I have won already, and I right now am on a journey to fulfilling my purpose, and it feels effortless because I stopped desperately trying to grasp onto control, and I just learned to let go and let the universe guide me. Okay, surrender is one of the greatest tools you could use. Okay, it's not a weakness. It's not, you know, passive. It's not passive. When you release control, anxiety, and fear, you allow something infinitely wiser and more powerful to guide you. The universe knows exactly how to fulfill your highest desires in ways that your conscious mind could never imagine. So trust the universe, trust God, trust your higher self, whatever you want to call it. You were born to live life, not just to survive. You were born to truly evolve and flourish and be in the flow with life, not to battle every single day against a mind that's trying to keep you stuck. Okay, so if you're ready to stop fighting and start flowing, comment below what's one thing you're going to surrender today fully, right? Put this into words and start your powerful surrender practice today, okay? And if you want to join me on this journey, hit the subscribe channel and hit the bell for, daily videos. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing them daily, but I've committed to 75 days, and right now I'm loving it. Okay, it is a lot harder than I anticipated with everything else, but you know what? I wouldn't change it. I'm here to help inspire you to be the best version of you. As I said, I don't have every answer, but the answers that I do have, I will give you freely. Okay, and I just wish everyone to reach their highest potential effortlessly. And the first step is to surrender. Okay, remember, your highest path is waiting on the other side of the surrender, the fear. Right? Let's walk this path together. Okay? I love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'll have another video for you here, and I think you can subscribe here. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.